You're 8 weeks pregnant. The room went silent. Emily Carter, 24 years old, stared at the doctor like she had spoken another language. That's impossible, Emily said. I've never slept with anyone. Her mother's hand tightened around hers. Too tight. The ultrasound screen glowed softly. There it was. A heartbeat. Strong. Real. Undeniable. Emily's stomach dropped. I've never even kissed a man, she whispered. The doctor frowned. Then we need to talk about how this pregnancy happened. Emily turned slowly toward her mother. Linda Carter didn't look surprised. She looked relieved. The name came out of Linda's mouth like a prize. Daniel Whitmore. Emily's blood ran cold. Daniel Whitmore wasn't just rich. He was untouchable. A self-made millionaire. A biotech investor. A man who lived behind security gates and legal walls. Emily had seen him exactly 3 times in her life. From a distance. That's not funny, Emily said. Linda smiled thinly. I'm not joking. Emily pulled her hand away. I've never been alone with him. I've never. You don't need to touch a man to get pregnant anymore, Linda interrupted. The words landed like a slap. Linda leaned closer, lowering her voice. You were chosen, she said. Because you're young, healthy, and obedient. Emily stood up so fast the chair scraped loudly. What did you do? She asked. Linda's eyes hardened. I did what I had to do to save us. They were broke. Eviction notices. Debt collectors. No future. Linda had watched Emily work 2 jobs and still fall behind. Then she saw an opportunity. A charity clinic. A fundraiser. A donor list. One name stood out. Daniel Whitmore. Linda volunteered at a fertility research fundraiser funded by Whitmore Industries. She had access. Forms. Samples. Connections. Emily's voice shook. You stole from him? Linda corrected her calmly. I borrowed what he would never miss. Emily felt sick as the pieces came together. A clinic. A procedure disguised as routine testing. Consent papers Linda signed for her. Frozen genetic material. Emily collapsed back into the chair. You used me like a container, she whispered. Linda didn't deny it. Once the baby is born, Linda said, he'll have no choice. No choice to what? Emily screamed. To take responsibility, Linda replied. To pay. To protect. To provide. Emily laughed hysterically. You think a man like that won't destroy us? Linda smiled. That's why we'll go public. What Linda didn't understand. Daniel Whitmore wasn't a villain. He was known for one thing above all else. Control. And control doesn't panic. It retaliates. Emily's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Emily Carter. We need to talk. Her heart stopped. How does he know my name? She whispered. Linda's face went pale. That night, at exactly 9:40 p.m., someone knocked on their apartment door. Not loud. Not aggressive. Precise. 2 knocks. A pause. Then 2 more. Emily knew, deep in her bones. This wasn't about money anymore. This was about survival. Emily opened the door with shaking hands. A man stood there, not in a suit, not surrounded by guards. Just calm. Controlled. Daniel Whitmore. Behind him was a woman holding a tablet and a man who never spoke. Security without noise. Emily Carter, Daniel said evenly. May I come in? Linda rushed forward. Mr. Whitmore, this is such an honor. This conversation is not for you, Daniel interrupted gently. Linda froze. Emily stepped aside. Daniel didn't sit. He looked around the small apartment slowly. 8 weeks, he said. Emily's heart slammed. I didn't want this, she blurted out. I didn't even know. Daniel's eyes moved to Linda. Then you're not the problem, he said calmly. Linda forced a smile. This child belongs to you. Daniel didn't react. That's not how biology or law works, he replied. The woman with the tablet stepped forward. We traced unauthorized access to a fertility clinic database, she said. Signed under Linda Carter's volunteer credentials. Linda's face drained of color. Daniel finally sat down. You committed a federal crime, he said. Identity theft. Genetic theft. Medical fraud. Emily felt dizzy. You're going to arrest her? She asked. Daniel looked at Emily carefully. I don't want to, he said. But I may have no choice. Linda suddenly laughed. You can't touch me, she said. If this goes public, your name is destroyed. Daniel leaned forward. You misunderstand, he said quietly. My reputation survives scandal. Your freedom does not. The room went silent. Daniel turned to Emily. I donate genetic material for medical research, he explained. Under strict contracts. No reproductive use. Ever. Emily's stomach twisted. So, you never agreed to this? No, Daniel said firmly. And now I'm the one being accused. Emily felt something snap. Her mother hadn't trapped a millionaire. She had framed an innocent man. Daniel stood. I'll give you 24 hours, he said to Linda. Turn yourself in. Publicly. Voluntarily. Linda stared at him. And the baby? Daniel looked at Emily. That child did nothing wrong, he said. I will protect the child. But I will not be blackmailed. Emily felt tears fall. This wasn't the monster her mother described. After Daniel left, Linda paced wildly. You ruined everything, she screamed at Emily. No, Emily replied quietly. You did. Linda grabbed her coat. I'm not going to prison, she hissed. Emily's phone buzzed. A news alert. Breaking. Billionaire Daniel Whitmore investigated in genetic misuse case. Emily's breath caught. Linda smiled slowly. Too late, she said. By morning, Daniel's face was everywhere. Headlines twisted facts. Social media exploded. Emily watched in horror. He was being judged before truth mattered. Daniel called Emily directly. They issued a warrant, he said calmly. I'm turning myself in. Emily's heart broke. This is my fault, she cried. No, Daniel said. This is where you decide who you are. As Daniel was escorted into custody, Linda vanished. Emily stood alone, pregnant, terrified, and holding the only truth that could save an innocent man. But telling it would destroy her mother forever. The apartment felt empty without Linda's voice. Too quiet. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, one hand on her stomach, the other clutching her phone. Messages kept flooding in, news alerts, unknown numbers, cruel comments from strangers who didn't even know her name yesterday. Gold digger. Another woman trying to trap a rich man. Lock them both up. Emily turned the phone face down. Her baby kicked gently, as if reminding her, I'm real. I'm innocent. And so was Daniel. By evening, it was official. Linda Carter was declared missing. Police knocked on Emily's door twice. Reporters knocked once. A neighbor filmed everything from across the hall. Emily realized something terrifying. Her mother hadn't just run. She had planned this. In a cold, white room downtown, Daniel Whitmore sat across from two federal investigators. You're saying you had no physical contact with Emily Carter? One asked. None, Daniel replied calmly. You're aware how impossible that sounds. Daniel folded his hands. The truth doesn't become false because it's unusual. They slid photos across the table, Emily entering the clinic, Linda signing forms, forged permissions. You're being framed, the younger investigator said quietly. But we need proof strong enough to survive public pressure. Daniel closed his eyes. And my freedom depends on a young woman choosing courage over blood, he said. Emily went to the police station. She stood outside for nearly an hour. Every step forward felt like a betrayal. Every step back felt like a crime. She remembered her childhood. Linda working double shifts, Linda pushing her to be smart, strategic, not weak like other girls. And now this. Emily finally walked inside. I want to make a statement, she said. Before she could finish, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Sweetheart, Linda said softly. Emily's knees nearly gave out. Where are you? Safe, Linda replied. For now. You framed an innocent man, Emily whispered. Linda sighed. I secured your future. No, Emily said, voice shaking. You destroyed lives. Linda's tone hardened. If you talk, she warned, Daniel goes free, and I disappear forever. Emily swallowed. That's not a threat. It is, Linda said. And if I fall alone, I'll make sure you fall with me. The line went dead. Emily left the station without speaking. That night, she dreamed of two futures. In one, her mother was free. In the other, her child grew up knowing the truth. She woke up crying. The next morning, Emily found an envelope under her door. No stamp. No return address. Inside was a handwritten letter. Emily, if you're reading this, it means I failed. The man you're carrying a child with never asked for this. Do what I was too afraid to do. L. Tucked behind the letter was a USB drive. Emily's breath stopped. Daniel's legal team confirmed it within minutes. The USB contained audio recordings of Linda planning the pregnancy, emails forging consent, proof of blackmail, a recorded confession. Linda had documented everything. Insurance, maybe. Or guilt. Emily walked into the courthouse holding the drive. Cameras flashed. Voices shouted. She stood tall. I have evidence, she said clearly. And I'm ready to tell the truth. Daniel watched from custody as the prosecutor's face changed. This was no longer a rumor. This was a reckoning. As the judge ordered Daniel's immediate release pending review, a new alert flashed across every screen. Linda Carter spotted near the Canadian border. Emily felt fear and relief. The truth was out. But the storm wasn't over. Daniel Whitmore walked out of the courthouse a free man. But freedom didn't mean peace. Cameras chased him down the steps. Microphones shoved toward his face. Headlines refreshed every second. Millionaire framed in pregnancy scandal. Mother masterminds biological fraud. Innocent man's life almost destroyed. Emily watched from inside a black SUV, heart pounding. She had told the truth. Now the world was judging all of them. By nightfall, Emily's name was everywhere. Some called her brave. Others called her complicit. Talk shows argued over her choices. Social media split into two brutal sides. She was manipulated. She should have stopped it sooner. She's still carrying his child. How is that fair? Emily turned off the TV. I didn't choose fame, she whispered to her baby. I chose honesty. 3 days later, Linda Carter released a video. Her face was pale, her eyes tired. But her voice was calm. I never forced my daughter, Linda said. I protected her. She blamed the clinic. She blamed miscommunication. She blamed desperation. And then she dropped the bomb. If Daniel Whitmore was truly innocent, Linda said, why did he pay for the procedure? Silence followed. Daniel froze when he saw it. That's a lie, he said. But lies, once released, move faster than truth. Federal investigators reopened everything. Payments, contracts, shell accounts. They found it. Daniel had funded the clinic. Not for pregnancy. For research. A failed fertility investment. A project abandoned years ago. Linda had twisted the paperwork. Again. Emily sat alone in the hospital bathroom one night, shaking. She stared at her reflection. You did this, she whispered to herself. You let her. The baby kicked hard. Emily gasped and then cried. No, she said aloud. She did this. And I stop it now. Linda was caught 2 days later. A motel near the border. Fake ID. Cash. Emily was asked if she wanted to see her. She said yes. They sat across from each other in a gray room. You ruined everything, Linda said softly. No, Emily replied. You did. I gave you security. You stole my choice. Linda's eyes filled with tears. I was afraid you'd end up like me. Emily stood. And now you will answer for it. The courtroom was packed. Daniel testified calmly. Doctors testified carefully. Experts dismantled Linda's story piece by piece. Then Emily took the stand. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. I was afraid of losing my mother, she said. But I was more afraid of losing myself. The room was silent. Linda Carter was found guilty. Fraud. Coercion. Identity manipulation. Criminal conspiracy. She didn't look at Emily as she was led away. Emily didn't look back. As the courtroom emptied, Daniel approached Emily. I want nothing from you, he said gently. No money. No control. He paused. But if that child ever wants to know who I am, I will tell them the truth. Emily nodded, tears in her eyes. That's all I wanted, she said. That night, Emily received a letter from the clinic. Inside was a medical report. Her hands trembled as she read the final line. Genetic anomaly detected. Paternity inconclusive. Emily felt the room spin. The truth still wasn't complete. Emily read the medical report again. And again. And again. Genetic anomaly detected. Paternity inconclusive. Her hands trembled. What does that even mean? She whispered. The doctor explained carefully, slowly, like he was afraid to shatter her. The embryo was altered, he said. Genetic material from more than one source. Emily felt sick. So, Daniel isn't the father. We can't say that, the doctor replied. But this pregnancy was not natural. It was engineered. Emily walked out of the clinic numb. Her mother hadn't just crossed a line. She had erased nature itself. Daniel listened without interrupting as Emily explained. This child might not be biologically yours, she said quietly. It might not be biologically anyone's, the way we understand it. Daniel exhaled slowly. So my life was destroyed over something that was never real, he said. Emily nodded. I'm so sorry. He looked at her stomach. That child is still real, he said firmly. And someone wanted them badly enough to destroy us both. Daniel's legal team dug deeper into the clinic's history. What they found was terrifying. The clinic wasn't just unethical. It was illegal. They had been running experimental genetic programs for wealthy investors, projects that failed, disappeared, or were quietly buried. Linda had accessed archived material. She didn't create the embryo. She stole it. Emily read the recovered emails. Linda never wanted a child. She wanted leverage. The embryo was meant to secure a payout. Proof of ownership, a bargaining chip against powerful people. Emily felt her knees give out. My baby was currency, she whispered. Emily requested one last visit with Linda before sentencing was finalized. Linda looked smaller now. Tired. They would have paid, Linda said weakly. We could have escaped everything. Emily's voice was calm but deadly. You turned a life into a weapon. Linda cried. I did it for you. No, Emily said. You did it because you were afraid to be poor, invisible, and alone. Linda broke. I didn't know how to stop. Emily stood. I did. The court offered Emily something unheard of. Full anonymity. A settlement. A chance to erase everything. All she had to do was disappear. Emily declined. I won't hide from the truth, she said. My child won't either. Months later, under quiet lights, Emily gave birth. A baby girl. Perfect. Healthy. Real. Emily cried as she held her. You're not a mistake, she whispered. You're not a weapon. You're not a lie. Daniel visited once. He didn't touch the baby. But he smiled. She deserves a world better than the one we inherited, he said. Emily nodded. I'll build it. The clinic was shut down. Executives arrested. New laws drafted. Linda received a long sentence. Daniel rebuilt his life. Emily wrote her story. Not for revenge. For warning. Years later, Emily received a letter. DNA research had advanced. The child had a genetic signature unlike any on record. A medical miracle. A life created illegally. But alive, human, and whole. Emily smiled. You were never meant to exist, she whispered to her daughter. And yet, here you are. Emily didn't become rich. She became free. Her daughter grew up knowing the truth, not with shame, but with strength. And Emily learned the hardest lesson of all. The most dangerous lies are the ones told in the name of love. If this story moved you, share it. If it made you angry, speak up. If it made you think, stay aware. Because silence protects the powerful. And truth protects the innocent. Like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful real-life, inspired stories.